I've recently had some people ask me in the comment section of the videos and on my Discord, hey Charmer, I watch your stuff, but when you actually play for real, right? When you want to climb the ladder, what is it that you use? What is your go-to deck? And the answer for the last couple of months has been Guildswarm, that aggressive kind of token-based Guildswarm list. And I know I've done a deck spotlight and a few videos on it in the past, but I have not shown an updated list. It honestly has not changed that much, but as you can see on the screen, I recently decided I needed to get to Legend fast because I'm going to be traveling for the Master Series soon, and I wanted to get Legend before I left, and it's an effective list, as the screen shows. So let's just go quickly show the list as I jump in here. There will be a code in the video description, like always as well, but this is a quick snapshot if you want to take a screenshot, etc. This is a very aggressive list. It's very friendly, even if you don't get the ring, which I think is very important in aggressive lists. I know a lot of people talk about how there aren't many good one-drops, but I'm finding more and more, if I'm being honest, that running the ones that are good is imperative right now. So this has a lot of great one-drops, even Nord Firebrand with the 0-drop. Pretty standard fare, not many things that are super questionable. New inclusions include like Mercenary Captain, though I'm not running a full set, and there are reasons for that, but that's the list. So we're gonna do what I normally do with these videos and jump right in and play a couple games. And we're gonna show you the results, win or lose, because even if I go 0-2, I feel confident that this list is good, just because, as I have shown in the match history, it can win. So, you know, even if I'm having some bad luck here, this is a list that I feel comfortable climbing with. Versions of this list sometimes change. Sometimes I'm running more Penitus Oculatus agents in it. Sometimes I shuffle around a couple of the cards, but for the most part, oh, you know what? We're going to be greedy and keep this pit lane. I don't normally like to keep this unless I have a scouting patrol or a marked man, but we have a 1-drop and the ring, so we're gonna be risky, and that is not good. In fact, I would almost say I would rather have the Merrick than the lightning bolt in hand. We're gonna play the mud crab here, and we're actually gonna take the zealot, and we're gonna ring it out
Death to the tribunal's lackeys.
because that might very well just enable that pit lion there, as long as we don't eat like a firebolt or an execute or something like that. And there's the firebolt. So they sniffed out our plan.
The Fighters Guild stands ever ready.
So we just continue doing what we were trying to do. They'll keep removing our creatures. But if they don't, then pit lion's our friend, so we'll go ahead and get in here. This is sadly gonna go by the wayside. I mean, unless we wanted to like take a proactive trade with Saint Denis, but we really just want to play this pit lion. Now we could play it over here, but when you know they're running Firebolt, and let's be honest, this Tribunal, they're running a million things, you don't want to put this, I think, in field so that you give them the nice, easy trade. They don't even care if they 2-for-1 in that scenario. If I'm being entirely honest, they know that you are going to give them cards. At least they should know. They should suspect that. A couple of different ways that we could go about this, but I think the one that I am most fond of is the one where we break this rune to get immediate value here. Now the downside is that means that this goes by the wayside because of the Harpy, but getting this up to a 4-3 is pretty relevant as well. What we need to find, hopefully before next turn where we lose most of our board to Ice Storm, is something that lets us draw cards. We would like to find like an Ulfric's Housecarl, for example. We wouldn't mind finding, ooh, yeah, we're definitely going to lose stuff to Ice Storm. We wouldn't mind finding even like Crusader's Assault, etc. So, in theory, if they had just played the one creature, we could have even used Sharpshooter to take the shadow away from it, that cover lane, and then trade it in, which might seem weird, but then it meant this would not be taking damage, because what they're looking to do here is set it up so that at least one creature survives to hit Pit Lion, and then they can maybe Ice Storm. That's assuming we develop more threats. Now, we might not do such a thing, because if we're anticipating Ice Storm, we don't want to give them a bunch of free stuff. Prophecy, not exactly something that we are excited for. Wow. All right, so that is very interesting. They do get the trade on the one, but that might actually kind of telegraph that they don't potentially have Ice Storm. We're going to play the Rift Thane here because it hides. I do not think we develop anything else here, sadly, as much as we wish we had more threats to develop. This is a nice cheap activator for this, and we would lose most of it anyway. Lightning Bolt we're going to need for reach. This to go through guards. Oh, they really just are angry at Pit Lion there, huh? Abigail there, not a fan. Not a fan of the lion. Alright, so now we're going to do this. Again, we expect our creatures to get nuked, but we have kind of put them in a scenario where they have to continue to do just that every turn. So, on the one hand, you know, it's a bit of a bummer. On the other hand, we've at least kind of got their back against the wall. Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and push as much damage as we can. Because now, at this point, if we top deck more reach, we might just win, right? So another Lightning Bolt will very obviously get it done. But even outside of another Lightning Bolt, we do have creatures with charge. There are things like Raiding Party, Candle Hearth Brawler, etc., etc. So we're not exactly out of this quite yet. But Lightning Bolt is a great way to get it done. And there you have it. Win number 1 in the bag. I'm really excited to be casting the Master Series soon. It's less than a week away. I love casting in general. I would like to do more events. I know that a lot of you just watch me for the Legends content, but I'm really digging Auto Battlers. There's a few other games that I like as well. I've been putting those feelers out there because I want to do more casting, but it's really tough to find work. There's a lot of competition, and the reality is most of the time they will pick casters that are, you know, talented and have experience, sure. But they'll also pick ones that are going to have a large audience, and I do my best, right? But, you know, I don't have like 15,000 Twitter followers or anything like that. So if you're one of those people who is watching and you like my stuff and or you want to see me cast future events, you should make sure that you're subscribing to the channel. If you have a Twitter account, you should probably consider following me there. I don't normally push that on the YouTube channel, but I think I'm gonna have to start doing just that because the reality is I need it. If I want to keep getting work, I've got to say, hey, tournament organizer, I can bring an audience. Alright, so that was not a great mulligan. That was actually a pretty terrible mulligan. I mean, we did our best. Crusader's Assault is nice, but it's not really something I like to start with in hand. And we don't run many 4-drops in the deck, but apparently we do now. So this is kind of a weird pickle, right? So we know this is going to pilfer and go up to a 2/2. So I guess we'll do this. We don't like using this to trade. Like, it's kind of the exact opposite of what you want to do with an Orc Clan Captain, but you also don't want this to get out of hand, so you play this here to contest. I was going to say, you hope they don't have a way to protect it. You would be wrong, but this goes here because it can't help trade. This will go to a 3/3, but as long as I don't throw something in front of it again, that does open up the Candle Hearth trade, which will now again be unfortunate because of the lethal there, but at least it did not get ward.
You fight like
Now
a
the good news is we can kind of get some value here if they don't have a way to buff it, right? We're gonna get rid of that because otherwise we would have lost it just straight up to the lethal. We'll try to 2-for-1 here. Things that might get in our way, however, I was gonna say Cliff Racer for the value trade is, you know, not ideal.
warning.
But movement effects, Monk Strike, etc., also not our best friend. Let's see if this can find us anything.
Read my lips. Mouth paws.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting for a number of reasons. But I think that we go with this one because worst case scenario that can help us out later. And
Easy as hunting a red skeever in the
we need to
snow.
at least get rid of this and continue our efforts to contest this as best we can.
You have been doomed.
Now that we know that they have the old Gate Warden,
I am too sleep for you.
so they will likely try to throw a guard down. But we have an answer. There it is. We do have the answer. So, in this particular scenario, we're gonna use our poor friend. I say poor because it's been nerfed,
I'll see
the
you
Dawnbreaker,
dead.
but we do have a nice Nord Firebrand that we can use to get rid of this. And now we have a decision to make. Normally I like playing this before I break a rune. Technically it's the better saturation, but this still also gets me more power on the board. So if we're gonna end up trying to play this next turn, for example, I think that you still do this.
How can I serve?
Just because I think you want the more maximum amount of bodies if you can help it. So the good news is that we do have sources of card draw when we get to where we're breaking runes. The bad news, however... Wow, they actually run Javelin, okay. The bad news is
One's strength.
we're not going to be breaking runes anytime soon. Alright, moderately frustrating. We would love to be able to play both Brawler and Captain this turn. But we cannot, so it's probably going to have to be Brawler and maybe Circle Initiate, or it could just be Brawler and this Be at Peace, and then trying to set up multiple plays with Captain this following turn.
You
Actually, that
can't
feels
defeat knowledge.
like it's going to be the best option. So we can do this. And we'll just go ahead and make this be smaller. Now this, again, we can't stop it. It'll be able to attack twice this turn, but we're really just trying to slow down as much damage as we can. So this is worth at least 3 if they don't have some other way to buff it. Now if they have another Cliff Racer or a Javelin or something to remove this, the Captain, as long as this survives, will buff this to where it can trade into that, which is important. Because we're essentially still just trying to stabilize. They have got us in a position where we are playing defensively, and I'll be honest, it's not where you want to be with this particular deck. This is a great pickup for us if we do manage to keep this on the board and get to play that. There's a lot of value we can generate there. Alright. Maybe they're going to trade? Yeah, okay. Interesting they chose to get rid of that, though. But not the end of the world. Alright, now that is problematic. Simply because that means... Well, Encano actually kind of makes it less of a problem, now doesn't it? I was going to say, it means we have to use both of our raiding party tokens in conjunction with this to swing in here. Because we have to get rid of that, but and kind of will do that for us now. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And then at 9, we have these as an option, plus whatever we draw.
You anger Khajiit.
Getting kind of low. It'd be nice if my opponent could also just stop playing cards. Thank you, please.
They are no challenge for the
Yeah.
machine.
Alright, so this is going to be 100% better than this.
We'll see about this.
I don't even think that we're going to end up breaking this rune this turn. Legitimately, I just don't. So I actually think we're going to put him on the cusp.
Let's do this. Time to fight.
Nothing like a good battle.
And let's go ahead and do that. So we have to hope that they don't have like even more burst. There's not a lot we can do to stop them if they do, but we're trying to set ourselves up for either stabilizing or just kind of one-shotting them.
I am ready to join the circle.
So they have 3 cards because they managed to cycle and draw so many last turn. Much to our dismay. But they concede. Okay. Turns out we stalled enough and set up a formidable enough board. And there you have it. Like I said, when I want to climb, Guildswarm is the list that I use because it's just, for the most part, pretty consistent. It's very well-rounded. Good mix of prophecies, good mix of aggression. The creatures you do have also can fight for the board at times. I'm not going to say that, you know, it's an unbeatable list by any means. It can certainly fall flat. If you draw all your weenies and none of your buffs, for example, it can feel weak in that regard, but that's just because of a bad draw. But overall, I like the list. Wanted to share it because some people had asked, so there you have it. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribing if you have not already done so. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. If you got Twitch Prime, use Twitch Prime to sub to me for free because you can do that. If you have Amazon Prime and you don't know, that means you also have Twitch Prime. So do the thing. But I love you all. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.